Hi everyone, it's Vivian. Welcome to another episode of Sit and Knit with Vivette. Episode 10, October's Roundup. First of all, I'd like to say hello and welcome to all my new subscribers, and a big hello and welcome back to my existing viewers. I'd like to thank also the podcasters who have put a shout out for my podcast on theirs recently, as I've had an influx of subscribers and I really appreciate the shout out. Thank you everybody. So for those of you who are new, my name is Vivian. I live in Essex with my partner Sean and our cat Bonnie, and this podcast is just a little bit to show you what I've been making over the last month. So if you're all comfortable and you've all got a beverage choice, let's get started. So first of all, as I said, my name is Vivian, but I'm known across social media as Vivette B1. So I'm mainly active on Instagram, but I do have a Ravelry page where I keep all my projects updated, so you can always see progress of how I'm doing and the things I use, the needle sizes, gauge, etc. So, like I say, I'm known as Vivette B1. Today I've got things to talk to you about. I've got finished objects in knitting and crochet and sewing. And some miscellaneous as well. So, without further ado, let's get on with the first finished objects, which is what I'm wearing. So this is something different. This is a crocheted shawl. This is the Road Trip shawl by Zooty Owl. And I haven't crocheted at all this year. This is the first little bit of crochet that I've done, and once I started I just couldn't stop. So I'm just going to whiz the chair back so you can see it in full view. So as you can see, it's quite a big open one. It's a DK one and it has tassels at the end. It's a really lovely open weave. You can probably see it a little bit better if I get closer. And what's lovely about this is the yarn is Starcraft Cascade, which is a DK yarn, and it's called Under the Rainbow, and I used 1 3/4 skeins for this. I do have another skein left and I'm going to knit myself some fingerless mitts to go with it, but it's a lovely shawl. My friend Claire, who is Arty Farty Mac and Beautiful Things on Instagram, she's made quite a few of these, and she recently did a show and tell of what she'd bought at the Knitting and Stitching show in Alexandra Palace recently, and she had some really bright rainbow cascade and was going to do one of these, and I was like, oh, I really fancy one of those, but a bit too bright, her colour scheme. So I picked up the muted version, which is called Under the Rainbow, and I've crocheted it in about 7 days, because once I got started I just couldn't stop. And it's such a, once you get your head around the American terminology of the pattern, it's really easy to follow, and it's a really quick crochet. So that's my first finished object on the crochet side. On the knitting side, I have some socks, 2 pairs of socks, but that's about it for finished objects. So my first pair are ones that I was working on last time I showed you, which is my leftover swap socks that I did with Barbara of Knitting I Love. So this is them here. So this is a German yarn, and I will put the name below because I haven't got the ball band to hand at the moment. And I just teamed it, so this is the main colourway that I swapped with Barbara, and I just teamed it with some Drops Fable in a neutral grey colour, which, as you can see, picks up the neutral grey. It picks up quite nicely. I know Barbara's done these as well, and she did her alternates with a chocolate brown colour like this one, but I didn't have any of that, so I used the grey. But they're lovely, easy knit. It's just a plain vanilla sock. I do toe up, and then I put an afterthought heel in afterwards. So that's my first finished object on the sock side. My second finished object is another pair of socks. It's Sean's Christmas socks. So those of you who watched last month's episode may remember that he'd said to me that he didn't need any socks for this year because he's got plenty of socks. So I decided that he definitely needed a pair of socks for Christmas. And that is his elf socks. Now I can't get these on a blocker because he's got a much larger foot than I have, but I do have a pair here. So these are his elf socks, and as you can see, again, it's just toe up and afterthought heel. So this yarn here, which is the stripe, is the King Cole Christmas colourway, which is their current Christmas colourway. And I have just teamed it with a bright red Drops Fable to do the heels, toes and cuffs. So that will be his Christmas Day socks. And I will put a photograph of Instagram of him wearing them, whether he likes it or not. So those are my 2 finished objects for knitting. So the other finished objects that I've got are sewing, a weaving, and miscellaneous, as I said. So first of all, I'll show you the little weaving project. So you may remember on my previous ones, I showed you some weaving that I'd done following a class that I had at Tribe Yarns in September. Well, I took the small sample across to Claire at Beautiful Things, and she's turned it into a little pouch for me. So it's a little zipper pouch, and it's lined inside with some bright pink fabric, but I don't know how well it'll come out on the camera. And she just literally made a small pouch out of it. Now this has helped us to work out how to turn the larger piece into a project bag, but she wanted a small sample piece to work on first of all, so this is it. And as you can see, it's really lovely. This is a West Yorkshire Spinners DK Air, and this is Countess Ablaze DK in the If I Want Exposure I'll Get My Tits Out colourway. And as you can see, it's woven up absolutely beautifully. I don't think the camera is doing justice on just how bright the colours are, but it is lovely. So that's weaving, and thank you to Claire for putting this together and working out how we're going to do the main bag. Really appreciate that. The other thing that I've been doing is quite a lot of sewing. And the first little thing I want to show you was a bag that I made last month. Did I bring it with me? Yes, it's right at the bag. I don't know if I showed you this last month, but I made myself a project bag. So it's just a drawstring project bag with plain fabric, and then I've just appliqued some little leaves on it. I don't know, probably see those a little bit better if I get closer to the camera, but just don't look too close at the stitching. But I was really pleased with that. And then later on, a couple of weeks ago, I made some little scissor pouches to go inside. So that's just a little scissor pouch that slips inside, and then you just seal it shut with a cam snap like that. And that actually is in the coordinated fabric, and that will leave it in my project bag. And I made two just to see how I could get on. So this is just some fabric that I had left over, and this is for a pair for my craft room so that it's close to the sewing machine. So that's my first sewing project finished. My second sewing project that I finished has been my advent calendar for this year. So this is the first time that I've ever sewn an advent calendar. And again, Claire helped me out on one of the festive sewing sessions. So thank you again, Claire, as always. And this is the finished project. I finished it at home. So I did the panels at Claire's, and then I finished the rest of it at home. And I'm going to have to shift back for this. So this is it here. So as you can see, it's just a one that you hang. And on the back, it's got some very festive Father Christmases, reindeers, snowmen, etc. So again, this is very good. This is a Dashwood, I think it's a Dashwood Studios panel. And I just got it from You, Me and Mabel online. So I'm really, really pleased with that. I'm now on countdown to when I can start filling it up with chocolate. And I'm going to enjoy having a chocolate a day out of that. We'll put 2 chocolates in it, one for me and one for Sean. And that will just keep us going during Christmas. So that is my finished objects for sewing. So as I said, I've also got some miscellaneous finished objects. And the first one of those is this. Again, it's on the Christmas theme. And can you see him? He is a diamond art little snowman. So he's the same on both sides. Excuse the orange thing, I need to find my gold thread. So he's the same on both sides. And this was a little activity session that we had at Claire. She was closed for half term, but we just came in for one day, a group of friends, and her daughter, Isabel, Little Miss Mac, she showed us how to do these, and she's a very good teacher, and we're going to do some more of these. So I have ordered some more so that I can finish off the decorations. So yes, I've ordered another pack so that I can finish off the decorations, and these will become tree decorations. I have some gold thread somewhere in the house, but I think it's in the Christmas box, so I will change the orange for gold, but I wanted to hang it up for the moment so it was out of the way of the cat. But these are really great, and these are great to do with children. They are on Amazon, so I will put a link below. It is an affiliate link, so I will link to it. It's actually Claire's affiliate link because she has them in her Amazon shop, so I will link to that. So if anyone wants to order them, especially to do with the children leading up to Christmas, it's great. I mean, I would say child 5 and above under supervision can easily do these, and they're really great fun. I mean, as adults, we had immense fun. So that was that. My other miscellaneous thing was another class at Claire. So I spent a lot of time at Beautiful Things, as you can see. She had a... excuse me, I've got a terrible cough today. She had a me time session. So her me time sessions are when you can come along and do a craft, and it's all in aid of the charity Mind, because it's for mindfulness and to be able to relax and enjoy and just have some time to yourself, really. And we did fabric painting, bag painting. So this is my bag here. And as you can see, it says, shush, talk to the hand, hashtag I'm knitting. And this is great, it's a tote bag, so it's going to be enough to hold a sweater's worth of quantity of yarn when I'm knitting. And if anyone is trying to talk to me, I can just hold the bag up to them and don't talk to me, I'm knitting. But I really enjoyed doing that. That was a great fun class with fabric paints and glitter and everything else. It was really, really enjoyable. So I'm hoping she'll run some more of those in the new year, and I shall make quite a few of those. So those are all my finished objects for this month. So rather than do subject by subject, I've just rattled on and done them all in one go. So that is all my finished objects. So now we get on to whips. Most of my whips are knitting this time round. I have one crochet whip, but most of them are knitting. So without further ado, I will dive into the first one. So, as I just showed you, I'm in my little autumn leaves bag. I have another pair of socks on the go. So these are just some, again, plain vanilla socks. These are my car knitting socks. So if I'm anywhere and I'm a bit early, I've always got some in the back of the car basically, so I can just knit on them. So there's no urgency on these ones. And this is again using a King Cole zigzag this time. And it doesn't have a colourway, so it's just King Cole. And tell a lie, it does. It's called Berries. So this is the Berries colourway. So as you can see, hide my lifelines. This is what it's knitting up like. So it's very autumnal berries, like black currant colour and a bit of black and everything like that. But it's just a plain vanilla sock, and I don't have to concentrate on it. I just keep going. And if you can see the little marker, that is Hannah of the Corner of Craft, her bunny rabbit. I was trying to think of my words then. Bunny rabbit, can you see it? And that was from a Stitch Marker Club back in April, because it was Easter. It was Easter stitch marker, so it's just a little bunny rabbit. So these again are just knit in the car. This is it all caked up. It always goes a little bit loose for some unknown reason, not sure why. And just carry on. So this is the first sock. So I'm in no hurry to do these, and I'm just working on them as and when I want a bit of mindless knitting and I haven't got anything else that I need to do. So that's whip number one. Whip number two, another pair of socks. This is living in my Craft House Magic bag. You can see where I got the inspiration to have a go myself. But my stitching is nowhere near as perfected as Ellie's is. And what I'm knitting at the moment, this is a bit of a Craft House Magic bag, if I'm honest. So I'm using Ellie's Christmas yarn, which is called Last Christmas. And I'm knitting the Evergreen sock, which is a pattern by Madeleine Gannon. Let me find you a picture. Now the picture's not going to be that good because they're in black and white. You might be able to just see that it's got a Christmas tree down there. So if I show you, might show you better on this one. So this is the first one that I finished. And can you see the Christmas tree pattern actually down there? So there's your leaves and there's your little... And I've just literally carried it on and I've just teamed it with a bright pink or purpley pink toe, and I will do the same for the heel as well. And again, that's another one of Hannah's Corner of Craft pink unicorns. So yes, this is the Evergreen socks. So these are going to be my Christmas Day socks. So you might see the pattern better if I do it that way. Just pull it out a little bit, just to give you an idea. So I finished the first socks and I've just about to start the patterning on the second sock. And these are, like I say, it's a bit of a Craft House Magic bag, because I'm using Craft House Magic yarn, which is living in the Craft House Magic bag. And I'm using her Craft House Magic DP cozy. So Ellie, this is all for you, my darling. So that's that one. But I do have one of Barbara's little tags on there. Happy Knitter. So that's my second whip. My third whip is a pair of socks for a friend of mine, Claire. Lovely Claire. She wanted a pair of stripy socks for Christmas, and Claire does knit socks, but she doesn't knit them anyway as fast as I will do. So I said to her, with the spare yarn, I had 50 grams left over after I've knitted Sean's socks, which out of a bowl of 100 grams I thought was pretty good going, because he is a size 9 foot. But that's because I'm using the alternative heels, toes and cuff. So I'm now knitting Claire a pair of elf socks, and this time I'm using a green as a thing. And this little stitch marker here, if you can see it, is one that I made. So it's a little Christmas wreath. So yes, so that's holding that one. So this is just the first sock. And what I did was I split the 50 grams I had left over into 2 balls, and I'm just going to knit until this ball runs out, and then put the West Yorkshire, because this is a West Yorkshire Spinners chocolate line, which I'm using for the toes and heels and cuffs, and I've got 100 grams of that. So I will then just knit until this runs out, or runs to the end of the nearest stripe, so it ends on a nice even stripe, and then I will just put the cuffs on and then add the heels in. So these are kind of like my evening knitting at the moment, so that I can gift them to Claire before Christmas. But again, because it's a stripe, it doesn't seem like it's so boring to do, because you're waiting for the next stripe to come on, so it's quite a quick knit. So I will have those hopefully finished mid-November. So that's whip number 3. Now my other knitting whips are quite large, so you will have seen that I was knitting Sean's flax jumper, and I'm still knitting Sean's flax jumper. So let me just get that out quick. That's it. I'm going to have to again wheel back for this. So this is his flax. Which way around? I think it's that way around. So I've done quite a bit on it. I'm literally, all I've got left to do is put the ribbon on the bottom. And again, this is one of Ellie's circular needle cozies holders. So I will put a link to Ellie's shop, because she does do regular updates and she's got some lovely combinations in there. So this is his thing. So as you can see, if I wheel back, you'll see he's not the smallest of people, just an average man size, but he likes them a little bit longer just to cover the base of his spine. So I will finish the ribbon today, and then I can start on the sleeves. And I'm hoping, because it's an Aran weight, the sleeves aren't going to take me that long. But all I'm saying to myself is, as long as you finish it by December the 23rd, so you can wrap it ready for Christmas Day, that's all I need. But I'm using Starcraft's parchment in their special Aran weight. He just wanted it. He chose the colour himself. He doesn't mind that it's acrylic. He quite likes the fact that it's not wool, because he doesn't like anything itchy. So that is his flax jumper, and I'm sure it won't take long once I get going. I am doing it most evenings. I must admit, I did find that the working around in the body, it tells you to do it for so many inches, and it seemed to be the last 2 inches took forever. I was like, every time I measured it, I was like, I've not done any more. I've not done any more. What's going on here? I've been knitting for ages. But yes, now that I'm literally just got the last inch or so of ribbon to do, and then I can go on to the sleeves, I feel that I'm on the route to finishing it. My last knitting object, excuse me while I lean down, is my pavement sweater, which again, this is not for Christmas, this is just for whenever I can. But I've progressed quite well. So I have finished the body. Let me get it the right way around. I think that's the back. So I finished the body, as you can see, and did the short rows at the bottom. I was very impressed. I did Japanese short rows for the first time ever, and I haven't got any holes, so I'm really, really pleased with that. And then I've just started on the sleeves. Now the sleeves shouldn't take me long, but I must admit I've put it down for a little bit to get other things finished, so I haven't done a great deal on it this month. And again, I have another one of Hannah's. This is the very first one that I got from Hannah, which is her little sugar skull. So that's that one. And this is a trick that I do that I don't know if people do it or not, is quite often you get these organza bags that you're given with gifts in and stuff like that. I always put my wool that I'm working on in it and just pull it tight, because it's still enough for the wool to come out. But then if it falls on the floor, the wool doesn't get dirty, because the bag is kind of protecting it and it doesn't roll away too far. So because we've got laminate floorings in the front room, I do that all the time, because if it doesn't fall on the floor, I haven't got to go chasing it around the room when the ball's rolled across the flooring. So this is a nice little tip. If you've got any of these organza bags, just if you want to, just if you handball your wool, just don't want it to go flying anywhere, just put it in that. So that is my pavement sweater. The yarn that I'm using for this, which is really lovely and soft, is King Cole's Baby Spot in the slate colourway. So it is a baby yarn, but I'm like, well, I love it. It's comfortable, it's easy to knit with. You get really good yardage with it as well. Really, really good yardage. So that is the last of my knitting works in progress. So the other works in progress, oh no I haven't, I've got another knitting one that I completely forgot about. That's because I do it all the time, I don't think about it. And that is my Cozy Memories blanket. So this is a long-term project. And that's my bag of minis. As you can see, I've got half of it on the go at the moment. So I will show you. I'm a bit fingers and thumbs today, folks, sorry about that. So last time I spoke to you, I had got as far as here. So this one here was my last one. And since then I've completed that row. I've done a whole nother row. And I'm just on the 3rd square of the row above. So if it's getting a bit big to show you now, but this is how far I've got with it. So, like I say, this is just a long-term project. And I was originally going to let the cat have it, but I've decided it's going to live on the back of my office chair so that when it gets a bit chilly in here when I'm working, I can actually put a rug over my lap. So I will do her another one. I think what I'm going to do for 2020 is this year I've done hats for the homeless. I haven't done any this month because I've been concentrating on the gift knitting, but I did have a count up of what I'd done so far this year, and I've got 15. So I think I said I wanted to do 12, so I've managed my quota, so to speak. So next year what I'm going to do is using my DK scraps, and I've got a lot of DK scraps where I've crocheted blankets, mainly acrylic and stuff like that, is I'm going to do a Cozy Manu's blanket style, but I will do those for the local cats and dogs home because Bonnie come from a rescue place and I'd like to give something back, so I will just do smaller blankets where I can do a couple of squares over, because I want the DK ones won't take long at all, so I can do some squares, join them together because you join them as you're knitting them, so that bit is done, and then I'll just donate them to the local cats rescue where I got Bonnie from, so that'll be a way of saying thank you for Bonnie. So that's the last of my knitting whips. My only other whip that I've got at the moment is the crochet one, and this is another road trip scarf, so the same one as the one that I'm wearing, but this is one just to wear around the house because, like I say, I love my cat to bits, but she likes to sit on my lap and knead with her claws, and I'm like, don't need my knitwear, don't need my beautiful shawls. So this is just a plain one that I'm doing in some acrylic that I've got, just a plain purple one, so that I can wear it around the house, and if she does rip it, I won't mind so much. But if she was to put her claws into this, I'd probably cry. So that's just my other one, and again, there's no urgency on that one, I'm just doing it as I'm going along. So those are all my whips, all my finished objects, and the only other thing I've got to show you is some treats. And boy do I have some treats, and I'm just going to pause the camera while I go and get the first one. So the first treat that I treated myself to is a set of Advent minis. I won't get them all out, but you can get the idea. So these are, again, from Ellie of Craft House Magic. There is a lot of Craft House Magic love going on here today, you'll notice. She did a 12 Days of Christmas Advent where you could either buy 12 10-gram minis, 20 10-gram minis, or 24 if you wanted the full Advent. I went for 12 10-gram minis. And the idea with this is because they're 10 grams, I'm going to actually split them. Once I've opened them, I'm going to split them into 5-gram minis. And then using a neutral colour in between, I'm going to weave them in order. So I will go up from 1 to 12 and then back down from 12 back down to the 1. So I get effectively 24s with an alternative cream or something in between. And then I'm going to turn it into a project bag. So that is the idea with these, is to weave them and then turn them into a project bag. I'm also doing a mini swap with some of the lovely ladies that I met at the Babbles Travelling Yarns retreat last October. We're going to do a mini swap between us of our own yarn. And again, with those, I will use a neutral colour in between, and I will weave those in the same way, so I get 2 project bags, one with Ellie's stuff in it and another one with those. So that'll be lovely memories. I might, depending on how much I get done, put some of it in my Cozy Memories blanket as well. But the aim at the moment is to actually weave them all into project bags. So that's the aim. So I'm now on countdown to the 1st of December when I can start opening things. So that's my first treat. My second treat was from the lovely Hannah of Corner of Craft, and it was one of her Christmas colourways that she did a couple of weeks ago in her latest shop update. This one is called Abominable Gingerbread Man, and it's all these beautiful, it's got pinks and purples and gingerbread colours, and it's lovely, and it's on her merino sock. I did want to go for the sparkle, but I just wasn't quick enough hitting that button and it had gone. So this is it here. So with this, I've got quite a few colourways. I have a tendency when I get skeins to get plain and natural dyed ones with speckles and stuff like that. And I think once I've cast on the Pavement Sweater, my first jumper of 2020 is going to be a fade. And it's going to be using lots of these different ones. So I've got some Truly Hook ones, I've got some Hedgerow yarns, I've got this one, and I'm just going to put them all together and see how they fade, and if they fade, and then work them all into a fade. So that is going to be going into the jumper for 2020. So I know that Hannah's just done a big shop update. I think it's probably going to be the last one before her wedding. So congratulations and good luck for your wedding, Hannah. But she did have some, she had some of this with a bright pink, similar to what I've used on my one as a sock set. And I was like, oh, I'm tempted again. But I won't, I'll be good, I'll be good. So my other purchases are on the sewing side. So following making those little scissor pouches that I did for my project bags, I've bought some scissor fabric and I'm going to make some more. Isn't that lovely? Dashwood Studios this is. So I'm going to make some with the blue and also some with the cream. And they may be gifts. I will make a stash and maybe give them some gifts. I've also been asked to make some for the vendors market for a retreat I'm going to in February to sell. So I will use some of these, and I'll also use some other fabric as well, so it's not just all scissors. But they're really, really lovely, and there's such a great, it's a little tutorial that I followed that Claire's released, and I'll put a link to it below. It's really, really easy to follow. It's a great tutorial. One of her, she does a selection of free YouTube tutorials on small gifts and things like that. So that's the one that I followed. So I'll put a link to that below as well. And also a link to her website where you can look at the other courses that she does, because she runs a whole studio where she teaches crochet and sewing and knitting and dressmaking and you name it, she'll teach it. And if she can't, she'll get someone else in to teach it. So the other thing that I also treated myself to is, now that I've got into my sewing, is that I treated myself to, if I open up the box you might be able to see it better, some weights. So these little donut weights, and they're actually as donuts. So I just got these off of Amazon. They're really lovely. They're just a little ceramic weight that you can put on your fabric when you're cutting out. So that's that. And the only other thing I've got to show you is my latest finished object, which I made yesterday at a workshop at Claire's again. And I'm going to show you this best. So I'll hold it up here. It's a silver ring. We made silver rings. So if I hold it like that, you might be able to get it to see it a bit better. So we had a whole silversmithing workshop with the lovely House of Denner. Focus on that. Can you see that? So she showed you how to size your set, how to size your ring, how to cut it off, how to solder it. That bit I didn't like. Didn't take long, but I was a bit like, oh, fire. How to hammer the pattern into it and everything. File it, smooth it, clean it. Really, really interesting workshop. Very interesting workshop. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And I know that Claire is looking to have her back in February to do some more, and also to look at doing some more advanced ones for those that have done the beginners class. So that was thoroughly enjoyable, making my own jewellery yesterday. Really, really enjoyed that. So that's all I have to show you today. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I look forward to you coming back and viewing next month. There will be a November roundup, and then I'm going to do Vlogmas. Now, excuse me, my voice is croaking now. I can't guarantee that I'm going to have enough content to do every single day of Vlogmas. But where I haven't, I will actually try and put a couple of days together. I do have a couple of things planned. I've started making some lists of things to show you, because we have quite a few garden centres around here that always do their place up for Christmas. So I do trips out to those and show you those. And just general day-to-day things, some craft things, some non-crafty things. So yes, I am looking forward to doing Vlogmas. I'm a little bit tentative about it, but I'm going to give it a go. I did it in camera form for Instagram last year, just taking photographs. But I thought this year I'd actually do it as a proper Vlogmas. So look out for those. But as I say, there will be a November update. So until then, take care, enjoy, start that countdown to Christmas. And I look forward to speaking to you and seeing you all soon. Take care. Bye-bye.